The end of clause particle ba has two main functions. It has several functions, but the two main ones are to soften speech and to make a command into a suggestion, to make it softer. It's an extension of the same idea. For example, here's an example. 这样说不好听吧?这样说不好听吧? And what that means here, 这样 means this, essentially, or like this, actually. 这样说 means to speak or to say. 这样说不好听. 好听 好听 means to sound. So this phrase means saying that doesn't sound good or isn't nice, actually. It's probably more what the actual meaning is. 这样说不好听. It wasn't very nice to say that, or that's not a nice sounding thing to say. The ba at the end makes it feel a little bit softer, so it's not mean or strong or forceful. It's like a suggestion, like, it probably wasn't a very good idea for you to say that. Or maybe saying that kind of thing isn't a good idea. Why don't you try saying it like this? So 这样说不好听吧? The ba has the function of softening the feel of the sentence to make the feel less forceful. Another example I wrote down that I'll just say is 做作业太不好玩了吧?我不做了. So that means doing homework is not very fun, ba. I'm not going to do it. So that the ba, it was in the first phrase. Doing homework is not that great, so I'm not doing it. All right, and so actually, that's the overall use of ba, or the main overall use of ba, is to make it less forceful. As an extension of that, it makes commands or like statements of, we're going to do this, into more of a suggestion feel rather than a command feel. So here's a phrase, 过来吧. 过来 means come over. So 过来吧 is like, it makes it into a suggestion, like a come on over here, come on, rather than come here. Does that make sense? And then here we have, this is not a command, but it's like someone declaring what he wants to do, he or she. It says, 我们在外面吃吧. 我们在外面吃吧. 我们 is we, 在外面, outside. 在外面, 外面 is outside. So this is that 在, again, that location phrase we talked about. 我们在外面吃吧, eat. So it's saying, let's eat outside. Or in Chinese, this outside idea is probably not outdoors, but rather like at a restaurant. So let's eat out. That's how we say it in English. 我们在外面吃吧. So the ba is like, instead of saying, it's like, let's do it rather than we're going to do this. It makes it feel soft. So ba softens the feel of a sentence and makes it less forceful. In this point, we're going to learn two little words that are powerful, and I grouped them together because they function very similarly. And as you'll see in the future, we won't talk about this today, but there are actually some phrases where these two words, though they're different in their basic meanings, actually are actually interchangeable, exactly the same. But that's for another day. For now, let's talk about the basic meaning. Do means all or both. It means that all of the subjects of the sentence, what I'm going to say about them applies to all of them, or both of them. In English, when we were talking about two, we say both of us are tall. When we're talking about two people, we say both, or two things. If we're talking about more than two, we say all. But in Chinese, there's no difference between both or all. Do applies to any number that's more than one. So whenever you, or if you want to say all of something, it's not just countable things, but like all of the water, that kind of thing. So we have, here's an example sentence. 我们都是美国人. 我们 we, 都我们 都 that's all. 是 is or are 美国人 Americans. Now notice where the do goes. It goes right before the verb. Do always goes right before the verb. Let me say that again. Do always goes right before the verb. You'll see in the future that Chinese will do all kinds of gymnastics to make sure that that rule doesn't get messed up. So do and ye go right before the verb all the time. So 我们都是美国人. We are all Americans. Some other examples I can say, or here's one. 书都在床上. So 书 is book or books. 书都在床上. 在床上. This is the 在 location phrase again. 在床 bed on. So it's on the bed. The books are all on the bed. How many books? I don't know. We know there's more than one, but some number of books are all on the bed. And so that's 都. I want to make a little point that this is it functions like an adverb. And so when we're talking about all, there's a slight difference between saying, let's say I say all people like smiles. All people like smiles. That's not this. That would be another word in Chinese. It's actually 每个人, all people, or each people, each person. That is not this word. But if I say people all like smiles, then that would be this word. So it's a slight difference there, but there are different words because this functions as an adverb. It's not like a word that is before a countable noun. Okay, so here we have 也. And 也 is also an inclusion word, but it's different from 都 because 都 means all the subjects of this current sentence. What I'm about to say applies to all of them. Where this is saying what I'm about to say applies to this subject as well as whatever we were previously talking about. So whatever we were talking about in context, that's true, but now I'm going to say it also applies to this thing. So they have a similar function in that it's inclusive, but has a slight different idea where this is including all of the subjects we're currently talking about, and this is including the current subject in addition to what we previously talked about. So here we go. 我也在中国. I also 在中国 in China. So I'm also in China, or I also was in China, depending on context. I also 在中国 in China. That's that 在 phrase again. We have a 在 plus a location. In this case, it's a place. 他也想去. He also 想去 wants to go. 他也想去. 他也想去. So there we have it. This means, again, this goes right before the verb, the similar idea, right before the verb, and it's always right before the verb. I want to point out one fun little fact. 也, if you notice the character, is in 他. So this is he, 他. This is 也 also. So here we have a 也 on the right, and then a person, a 人字旁, what do you call it? It's a 人字旁. It means it's when it's on the side of something. It looks like this. When it's by itself, it would look like that. But anyway, we have them right side by side doing their little funky 也 character thing.